I have a lot to say, I think. I feel like I built up this reality in my head that every time I open my mouth, everyone around me is annoyed already. Like, oh, here he goes. And I think that for a while that was my reality. Like, that just was my life for a while. Nobody around me wanted to hear what I had to say, and even if they listened, they weren't really hearing me. But it's not like that here. So I'm learning to speak more and talk more and take up space, but that comes with its own whole fucking thing. And through all of the things that life has thrown at me and that I've just had, I have always tried to remain. If I can't be kind, I just try to stay honest. I just keep it to the truth and not really try to say anything else because my intention is never to cause harm. I think that there are things inherently that, just because of who I am, cause harm. And I'm working through those things and learning every single day as much as humanly possible. I think I'm taking in new information and learning so that I can be less of the problem. But the work that I'm doing now about that isn't personal, it's systemic. And that's a whole different thing when it's a system instead of me as an individual. Like, obviously there are things that I as an individual can do to perpetuate or be anti the bullshit that's been going on. But like, as an individual, it's not my, like, because people always talk about like white guilt and all of this shit, which I'm just like, you're centering yourself again. And the thing is that is unfortunately very human and a bit of a symptom of the system that we live in, but we got to get past that part. We got to get past that part because it's not about you. It's not about us. This is about humanity. And if we don't get a lot more loud about the mistreatment of people, it's never going to stop. This is a systemic issue. We live in a racist, misogynistic system that's run by pedophiles and cannibals. And we've been so inundated with all this information and all this like fear tactics until we're all at each other's throats thinking that that guy's the enemy and that guy's the enemy. And it's everybody that just doesn't look like me that's terrible and bad. And no, quite frankly, it's the people that look exactly like us that are terrible and bad. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, and this goes, anytime I say stuff, like, I am also talking to myself because, again, when I sit down to record these things, most of the time I'm sitting down to just talk through my thoughts. I don't ever know if I'm going to post what I'm saying when I sit down to record. So like, I'm also saying these things to myself. I am not the exception to anything. I am not excluding myself from the standards that I'm trying to hold everyone else to. I know I'm part of the problem because I'm a human being and I'm going to mess up and I'm going to have, my own shit going on. But I think that a big lesson I'm actively learning and like watching other people struggle with and learn and grow from and all of the above, because we're all in different places and different headspaces and all of that. But it's just that when you're on the defense all the time, you're going to find enemies everywhere, in everything, in anything that's unfamiliar, anything that sparks a but the isn't always bad. It's just your nervous system is so used to people and things not being safe, especially if you have trauma, especially if you're anything other than cis, het, and white right now. There's a lot that is just making us all feel like we have to protect ourselves so fucking hard. And I don't know that there's a real graceful way to handle anything right now. And I think that the crux is to try to be graceful in a time like this. Not saying to like stop being kind and to stop being yourself, but like you don't have to have it all together all of the time. The people in your life that love you and care about you, they are still going to be there even if you lose your shit every now and then. And again, I'm talking to myself here as well, because it's like for a really long time, I feel like I seemed like I had it all together, like I had something figured out that the people around me didn't. And I think that there are layers to that where in some cases, yeah, I was ahead of the time. There were a lot of close-minded people around me growing up, a lot of hateful people around me growing up, people with really bad ideologies. And I've always known that was stupid. I always knew it was rooted in ignorance. I didn't understand the breadth of it and how fucking, because our education system fucking lies to us. And if you are never around people that challenge that, because no one else around you has been shown to challenge that, because like before social media was a thing, you didn't see all of these different types of people and different cultures and all this stuff in real time from the real people living it. You just saw what the history books tell you and what TV is telling you. But now that we have social media, we're all talking to each other all the time. So we're all learning all of this shit all of the time at the same time. But the difference is that some people are open to being wrong, to understanding that they've been misinformed and lied to their whole lives. And some people are not. And part of me understands the psychology there. The brain wants familiarity. It wants safety and security, because familiarity, even if it's not good for you, it's familiar. And that automatically in your brain is going to tell you that it's the safer option, because at least you know what to expect. You can prepare yourself for what you know, whatever. But the new thing, your brain, it doesn't know. It can't compute what might happen other than like, I have to think of all the things I might have to survive if things are different. So most people just choose, even if it's not good for them, they just keep choosing the same thing over and over again because it's familiar. And that's just that's our brains are wired that way, because in nature, familiar paths breed safety. Sometimes words are really hard for me. I'm hoping that this is all coming out. I felt like I was I was doing well, and then I feel like I just fumbled, but maybe I didn't. I don't know. But different doesn't always have to be bad, and different can be safer. I'm coming up on a year in this new place, and everything was scary. I do everything terrified. I'm always scared of everything. I have so much anxiety coursing through my body all of the time. I am always like afraid that I'm going to try my best and try my hardest, and like shit's just not going to be good enough for the people around me. And I'm being shown constantly that like that's not the case here. That like I'm good as is. Obviously, we're encouraged to grow and like keep learning, and I do that daily, but like that is all it is. It's just that I keep learning and that I keep striving to be less of the problem and be more of a solution, hopefully. But I understand what it's like to be in a place where it's not safe to do all this. because it wasn't. Because if I had unpacked all of this in an environment where I was struggling just to feel like I had space there, there's only one way I could have become even less, and it was frequenting my mind more and more. And the thing is that I was pretty honest about that. I was pretty upfront about it. Because when you're in that headspace, you don't really know what to do because you don't want to do that. I think anybody wants to do that. But when life is unbearable, it just becomes a repeating reality in your brain where you just think about. And I think part of my problem is that has always been in my mind, like since I was younger. I very much had brain stuff going on. You know, I've been diagnosed with several things, but I don't know that any of them had been correct. And I've been on several medications, all of which kind of helped, but also made certain other things worse. It's because it's one of those things. It's just hard to get it right because everybody has their own stuff going on. So the right combination of things can be really hard to figure out. But what I will say is that moving somewhere where I don't have to fight to be seen and surrounding myself with people who aren't competing with me and having friends that, like, when I express these big things that are going on in my brain, because I'm always thinking about the system. I'm always thinking about it. I am always thinking about these arbitrary bullshit things that, like, we're forced to do just because some guy somewhere wanted to make more money. And it's in everything. It's really hard right now. I'm having such a hard time enjoying stuff. Like movies, it's just all white men. Like, obviously I know that's not true. Like, there are indie filmmakers and stuff. So I'm looking more into that, and I'm watching more low budget things and more independently made stuff, and I am enjoying those things more. But it's just like I get on any social media and everyone's talking about the newest big movie, and I'm just like, I don't fucking care. They're all bad people. All of them could be doing more to stop what's happening, and they're not. So, like, I don't care. I'm so over everything. And then it's like everything is bean soup, right? Like, I'll say this, and then people are gonna be like, but this one guy, he donated $5 one time. And I'm like, I am going to eject myself into the sun. Like, please stop. And do I know that is very rigid and that, like, I can't expect everyone around me to feel the same way? Yes. I understand that. And I'm not going to begrudge people for enjoying things because we have to. We just have to. We have to find stuff to enjoy. We have to find stuff to check the fuck out of this shit. But that shouldn't be the case. We shouldn't need that. We shouldn't need an escape from our lives. We shouldn't need to be distracted. And I do think that the answer is to consume less and make more stuff instead of watching movies, right? Instead of, I don't know, playing video games, LARP with your friends. But just do more stuff with other people and stop isolating yourself, because the more that you pull in and the more that you pull in and the more that you hide yourself and put these walls up and all these things, the more it's going to feel like you need them. And, like, obviously I'm speaking from my own personal experience and I'm speaking for my own life, and, like, anything I say, take with a grain of salt. And if you have a better insight, share it if you'd like. Just don't be a dick about it. Because if you come at me sideways, I'm going to come on your mom. So I'm unmedicated. I think I have to end the video now. I don't